And then how much money did you make in your fourth month as a signing agent?
11.5.
$11,000 in your fourth month as a loan signing agent out in New York. Another episode of On the Road with the Loan Signing System with Signing Agent B out in New York City. How are we doing today, B?
I'm good, Mark. I'm great. I'm great. How are you?
I'm so good. So we
I'm
got
excited.
B from the Bronx. Take that, Jennifer Lopez. I'm so excited. So as every single one of these, this is as inspirational as any of the stories that we've told. I'm so excited about starting your journey, sharing your journey. So let's just get people inspired right out of the gate. How much money did you make your first month in the business?
My first 10 days, I made 1,300. My first full month, I made 5,500.
What you make in your third month?
My third month was 8,600.
And then how much money did you make in your fourth month as a signing agent?
11.5.
$11,000 in your fourth month as a loan signing agent out in New York. When I say that out loud, B, how does that make you feel?
It's insane because I did not think I can get there so fast. I was just thinking, okay, I'll take whatever happens, but New York took me by storm. It really did. I was ready for it.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay. Look, like I said, your story, as inspiring as anybody's story that I have shared, any student that I have shared. So B, take us back to kind of why you became a signing agent. Take us back from the beginning and tell us.
Well, I found you on the wonderful world of YouTube in 2018, and I watched you for some time, just doing my research, and I knew I had to do it. I knew that this would work, but at that time, while signing up for your program, I had discovered that my son was showing signs of delays. And at that time, he was 2. Maybe touching, he was going on 2, and that was very difficult to understand what was going on in his world. So I signed up for the course, and I put it on pause. I shelved it, knowing that your policy was like, when you're ready, you come back. And it took me up almost 4 years to get back into the game because I had to dedicate my time to my son, also understanding what he was going through, having a child. I It took me a really long time to birth this beautiful boy. He was 2 pounds 8 ounces, and he had some struggles, but I was in great denial, understanding what is going on with my son, why he wasn't speaking, why he couldn't say mommy, giving me eye contact, and just going through the parenting woes. I was really shocked that my son had, what they were suspecting as autism. And I was in denial for so long, but I had to go through that with him. And my husband and I, we seek therapy with my boy, and he's 5 now, and it was a really long journey. It was taxing on myself. I felt like I failed him. What did I eat? What did I do wrong? Did I read enough? Did I talk to him? Did I hold him? My husband and I, we just didn't see eye to eye. I was in denial that my son was going to be great. My husband was like, he succumbed to the diagnosis, and I refused to fail. I refused to give up on my boy. So we just kept pushing, and it got to the point that I had to come to the understanding that my son was uniquely made the way he was. And I still struggled with that. If someone ever said the A word to me, I broke down in tears. I was depressed. I was I felt like I was ashamed of my son, which I wasn't, but just labeling my son to be something, as a thing of abnormal, I just couldn't deal with it. So I really had a hard time dealing with that. I still do. I'm not going to lie. I want my son to be seen as just like anyone else. Everyone has some medical deficiencies. Everyone goes through something in their life. So I have to look at my son and say, you're no different than anyone else, and we're going to get through it.
Wow.
Mhm.
Hey, I don't even know where to start. The first thing I want to say is just thank you for your vulnerability. Thank you for sharing that, people aren't alone on journeys that they may be experiencing. Um, I think it's an incredible, incredible story. You know, you got the course in 2018 and you didn't give up on your signing agent dreams and your signing agent journey, right? I tell you, slow is a speed. Everyone's journey is perfect. And I want to take people through the fact, like, you know, it's okay that you had to deal with what you had to deal with and still come back and be a phenomenal signing agent, right? No matter everyone's journey is not a straight line. And gosh, yours was this, but you're here, you're making 5 figures a month. I mean, so just thank you. Knowing your story, just you're a superwoman. You
Uh,
know, and it's
I don't know if I would say superwoman. I feel like it's really hard. And I have to say, I'm not sure if I would take the credit that I didn't give up. I really didn't think I was gonna go back into the thought of being a signing agent. Like I felt like my world was over
mm,
when it came to my son. I felt like what now? What is there to look forward to? I had my son who had challenges that I never even thought or imagined. So I did in my mind, I said, I could never go back to this. I have to dedicate 100% to him. And even then, I was losing myself. I was losing my husband. I was losing my friend who was supposed to be my partner. There was so much to deal with that the loan signing system was pretty much non existent to
mhm.
me because I just felt like, how could I cheat my son, give other people time when I should be giving it to him? And then dealing with my husband and having to hold a marriage together. Marriages are stressed with children in general, and then you add another straw on top of that and it just could crumble. So trying to keep your marriage together, trying to keep your son you know in the middle of what people want to put him in a box. My people try to put my son in a box and I refuse. So all that energy just took me down very dark days, but I had to pull myself out.
You know, let's talk about pulling yourself out. I mean, you know, because you're not the only person to go through their version of a journey, right? And I think I shared my story, my journey at conference, and at conference says we all have something that we're battling, right? And so I know someone else out here is battling their version, right, of whatever their journey is. And so for someone like yourself who just said, I felt like a failure, I felt like everything, the world stopped turning. What kind of helped you through to kind of break out to where today, your smile is just so infectious and your energy is so amazing. And so it's very apparent you've moved past it, right? Or moved through it's probably a better word. And you're still moving through it like all of us are. I'm moving through my own stuff still, trust me. And so, but what is it that kind of helped you through that? So maybe someone else can get inspired on how they can get through whatever their version of their journey is.
Well, one of the things I've learned throughout the years of my entire life is that you can't allow your circumstance to be your story. You just
Mm,
can't. And I worried so much about what if this happens, and my worry was taking control. And I just turned that worry into a warrior, and I had to change that. I had to conquer my fears of failing my son and myself. And the one way I can help my son was to reset my mindset
mm,
and get healthy. I lost myself. I blamed myself. And I'm so happy that throughout the years, although I wasn't working the system, I was able to be in your group and I was watching and I was seeing people just thrive and just go through it. And I said, I hope that's me one day. And then I finally decided I have to do it because my son wakes up every day with a smile on his face. He
mm.
has no clue that the world is saying he has autism. He has no clue. He doesn't care. He lives life every day to the fullest. And I said, this boy is living life, and I'm sitting here worrying about it. So I decided that on January of 2021, I had to take your test. I had to sit down. I had to take the test because my son went to school every day with no frown, just learned how to talk, learned how to manipulate utensils. He learned. And I was sitting here just letting life pass me by while my son was growing. And I had to grow with him in his journey. So that's what made me say, I have to do this. If my son could do it, I could do it. And I had to nourish myself. I had to get strong. I had to be able to bring in income to pay for the therapies, to pay for programs. And if it wasn't for the income that I'm bringing, my son could have missed out on great camps and great therapists. So I had to do it, Mark.
I just want to hug you. Like, it was the most beautiful thing. Like, what I think is so beautiful is how your son helped you through your darkest times.
Oh, he did.
Like, I almost want to start crying. Like, that is like, it's so beautiful how the one you're so worried about is helping you. And I'm becoming a
No.
mess right now. But like, honestly, that is so beautiful how, the person you're worried about is looking at you with a big smile on your face, and you're like, how come mama is the one feeling so down, and your son is just the one who's the beacon of light? So I think that is the most beautiful thing. What I thought was beautiful too, and I wrote it down. I'm all crying. You got me a mess, girl. What I loved is what you wrote. You said, I turned my worry into a warrior.
Yeah.
Girl, that should be a t-shirt.
I should make a t-shirt.
That's what I'm saying. Sorry, I'm all like crying on here. But I mean, turn a worry into a warrior. That is just, I love that phrase. Because
I had to.
life isn't about what happens to us. It's how we handle what happens to us. And I love your vulnerability of like, look, life knocked me down, and it knocked me down for a couple years, but you didn't stay down.
No.
That's the beautiful part about your journey. And not only did you not stay down, girl, you jumped up. You made $10,000 plus in your 4th month in this journey. There are some students, who are still trying to crack that 10K month. You're in an attorney state. I mean, everything was against you, and you're making $10,000 a month in New York City. And I hope all the New York City students are inspired by you. Everyone is, because, girl, I know I am. And this, thank you.
I hope to inspire. Because, like I said, everyone has a story. I mean, I am so happy that I'm able to share it. I was in denial. It was hard for me to even say the word autism. It was hard for me to even look at people who would ask me what's wrong, or why isn't he, or why, all the whys. And one thing I have to remember is that when you first started, and I think you still use the phrase, what is your why? And he's my why. And I said, why are you worried? I would turn it around. I said, why are you worried? In a New York swag. I was like, why not? Why can't I do it? Why can't I succeed? And growing up in the Bronx, and you have all these stigmas, and you already have hurdles. And I didn't want to let things keep getting in my way. And my son is just jumping hurdles, jumping. And I said, I got to keep up with him, So no, it's just amazing. Anyone, if I can do it in New York, if I can make it in New York, anybody can make it in New York. New York state of mind.
Oh, B, this is taking me on an emotional journey. I had no idea that I was going to be on, but thank you. I mean, honestly, girl, I'm proud of you for so many more reasons, just the money you make. Thank you I'm proud of you sharing the story. I know sometimes it's not easy to share when we are in the darker parts of our life, but I know I'm inspired by it. I'm inspired by your son, who every day wakes up and just loves life. And I think sometimes we overthink what life's about, right? And I think he embodies what life should be about. Wake up, smile, be oblivious to everything else, because every day we wake up is a blessing. And sometimes we wake up and we don't realize that just waking up is amazing, right? And so, and so I think that your son is inspiring you and your husband, and now me, and hopefully some other people watching. So, tell your little man I say what's up.
I will.
I'm bring him a conference next year. Oh my gosh, it'd be amazing. I mean, honestly, worry into a warrior.
I had to, Mark.
That is beautiful. Like, that saying is beautiful. So let's continue on with sharing your journey, because I gotta stop crying.
No, you gotta stop. Mark, I've cried so many years. Like, will I cry tomorrow? Probably. I will cry it doesn't change as a parent. It doesn't change. You worry about your children, or you worry about certain things. If you're not a parent, you have a different set of worries, right? That doesn't mean I'm going to stop crying. I just have to keep resetting myself and just keep remembering that it's just another day. It's going to pass. Is my son going to be able to do the things that I'm hoping that he could do, a typical 5-year-old? maybe not now, just the same way. It wasn't meant for me in 2018 to be a signing agent. Maybe it's just not his time to do a 5-year-old thing now, but his time is coming. And I have to keep believing that he's going to be okay. And I'm going to be okay with him, you know?
Yeah. The answer is yes. I think you're going to be more than okay. If I can, spin this back to the business part of this, what's beautiful is you said something. I'm looking down because I'm writing notes because you're saying
Yes,
so many
yes.
amazing things.
Thank
Is,
you.
you said, Mark, I got to keep resetting myself.
Mhm.
I think that's beautiful from a business standpoint too, because sometimes there's good and bad days in business, right?
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes people, you have a bad day in business, they make an error on a signing, someone doesn't use them, a title company says no, they're stuck in traffic, late to an appointment. And some people don't reset themselves. And that's why they keep going down a spiral. And so, like you just said, maybe in 2018, you weren't ready to be a business owner because some of the things that you learned the past few years is what makes you a strong business owner. And, a lot of new students, they have trouble resetting themselves after a setback. Like I miss a signature. They feel like it's the end of the world. You are like, look, I know what the end of the world feels like, and it's not missing a signature. So I think it's kind of made you ready to be a business owner. And notice I didn't say signing agent, I said business owner,
That's
right?
right.
Because being a business owner, you go through valleys and peaks and valleys and peaks. And sometimes the valleys in business, for lack of a better word, destroys business owners and because they can't handle it and they don't know how to reset themselves. So I hope people are inspired by you because, through some of your own personal trials, you've learned how to, what you said, reset and allow you to start the new day. And from a business standpoint, that lesson is invaluable. And
Right.
so I hope people heard that because business sometimes it's also about resetting. It's also about like, yesterday sucked, but I'm okay. I'm going to go get them. I'm going to go talk to that signing service. I'm going to talk with this borrower. I'm not going to make an error today. So
And you
be,
know what they say, a setback is only a comeback, a stronger comeback. That's all it is. When you have a setback, just get ready for that comeback. And that's every day at 12:01 a.m. is a new day for a new beginning. And that's how I look at it. Yeah.
love it. And I think
Mhm.
that's good advice from a business side and a personal
Yeah.
side.
Mhm.
And like you said, I think, 2018, maybe you weren't ready for some of the trials and tribulations that we're going to go with running a business because goodness knows there's stresses running a business, right? As you know now. But anyways, B, I mean, thank you again for
Thank
sharing
you.
this.
Thank you.
Um, you're welcome. But I share these journeys because I try to show that, B, if you can build this business, do you think anyone could build this
Oh,
business?
absolutely, Mark. Absolutely. I mean, I don't want to discredit my ability, right? Because that's one thing. Your mindset has to be, you have to believe that you can do anything. But there are times that I sabotage my thoughts.
Mm.
And I think, oh, I can't, I'm not as good as this person, or I may not be as successful. But if I can do it, and this is taking away my personal, like my issue with my son and having all these things happening at one time, it's always going to be something. It's always going to be, if it's not a child, it's not a husband, a man, anything can happen, right? I mean, a job. But if I can do it, I could be the slogan. Seriously, I should be your poster child for this. If I can do it, anybody can do it because I was terrified at going forth on this. And I'm I could take everyone in New York and just shake them up and tell them they can do it. Just bring them my way. Bring them
I
my
love it.
way.
I love it. Well, let's kind of switch gears into your income journey, right? Because I think, I went over it loosely in the very beginning, but let's kind of go through it and walk people through it because I want people to be inspired by how it's just been constant growth. And I want to talk people through why you think there was constant growth so they can take something from your journey. So let's take people back. So the first month you made $1,300, right?
Yes.
I wrote these
In
down.
10
So
days.
in
In 10 days, Mark. 10 days.
I hope everybody heard that.
10 days, guys.
In the second month, you made $5,200. Third month, I wrote down you made $8,600. The fourth month, you made $11,500. Okay, so what I see in that trajectory is just growth, 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 growth. Okay, What do you attribute that to, right? So what made you, in your opinion, go from 13 to 52 to 86? And before we get to that, I want to inspire some other signing agents here. Is do you quote unquote knock on any title offices doors to get this business?
No.
And so this business is built all through signing services and signing agent data platforms.
Right. Mhm.
I hope everybody heard that. Okay.
That's right.
And there's two ways, but like, I encourage direct? Yes. I encourage any way thing that grows a business. And so I hope people are inspired, like, oh, Mark, you can't make $10,000 a month unless you go direct. Not true. You're not the first student I've interviewed who also gets 10 grand a month through signing services. So I want people to be inspired by that. So with that being said, let's talk people through what your belief is, why you've kind of been able to scale through signing services this growth trajectory that you're currently on.
Well, from the beginning, I modeled your formula of just giving exceptional service and getting a signing in, through the platforms are really difficult. You just press yes till your face is blue and pray. And so I started doing, I prayed a lot, but I would call them. You told me call them, and I called them, and I was almost scared that they saw that, hey, she has 0 signings. But when I spoke to them, they could not tell that I was a new signing agent. I was so confident. I was just like, give me your money. And one time, Mark, I'll tell you this. During your mentorship, you had told me when the phone rings, there's someone telling you, I want to give you money. That changed my mindset. So now I call them saying, can I have your money? So now I'm calling them not as a salesperson. I'm not pitching them. I'm just saying, hey, I want to take that money, in not so many words. But I always call them, and I started landing them. But not only did I approach the signing service and the schedulers, I ended it with the signer, the borrower, whoever was on the other end of that transaction. I treated them as important as I did, the first step. So from the first to the very last step, I honor everyone at that same level. And I give them gratitude at every level. And unlike escrow states that you can walk in and give baskets and stuff like that, New York is a little bit more security, so they won't let me in these high-profile buildings. But I'm able to send them, the schedulers, a gift. I'm able to leave cookies at the borrower's table so that they can remember how sweet that girl from the Bronx, they'll remember me. And that word of mouth has attributed to the growth that I've seen throughout the months. I get repeated business.
This interview has been fire so far. So, there's a few things that I want to touch on. The word I wrote down when you were speaking was the word honor. You honor every single part of the transaction, whether it's the signer, the scheduler. I love the word honor. You really care about the process. And I don't want that lost on people, right? Some people see the transaction as dollars. You see the transaction as more than dollars. You see it as, it's not even a transaction. It's an opportunity to serve the borrower, to serve the signing service, to serve the client, the title company. And I love the word honor. I think I need people to hear what you said there. The second thing that I love you said is, you called the signing service up. Why I can't take credit for your amazingness is everyone has the same course. Not everybody implements the same way. So what I hear from you is a signing agent who just learned and they applied, and you called, you used the script, you said the words that you were taught. I hope all LSS students are hearing this. It's not magic. It is, I called, I used the script, I got the signing. And what I love that you said also was, it wasn't a sales pitch. I hope people heard that, right? I think a lot of people are nervous about calling the signing service up or whoever. It doesn't matter if you walk into escrow, and it's not a sales pitch. It is, I'm here to serve you, and I want to serve you the best I can. And I hope people hear that. You specifically said, Mark, I don't sales pitch anybody. And I think people get nervous because They think they're in sales, which I teach you that we're not.
Oh, no.
And you are getting business by calling the notifications, because it's true, man. It's true. When you get a notification, someone's trying to give you money.
Yes, yes,
They're like,
yes.
we got money, we want to give it to you. And if all you're going to do is hit accept, well, you're not building the business, you're trying to win the lottery. And so, but I love how you chose not to win the lottery. I'm going to build a business, I'm going to build relationships, I'm going to honor everybody.
Yes.
And I love how you say you believe that's what attributed to this unbelievable growth. I mean, month over month, it's 30, 40. For month to 2 is almost 100% growth. 2 to 3 is almost 100% growth. From 3 to 4, it was like 40% growth. Like, and you contributed to honoring. I mean, if I'm gonna drop my pen, like that's what I mean. You're just dropping fire, girl. I love it. I'm so proud of you. I'm proud of you for just embracing the loan signing system way. And I hope students are being inspired by you, because you didn't reinvent the wheel. I told you to call, I told you to say these words, and you get the business. What I can't take credit for, though, is the way you honor everybody, the way you don't treat it like a sales transaction. You treat it like a moment. You treat it like what it should be. Like you're signing one of the borrower's biggest investments of their lives. And you bring the borrower's cookies. I hope people heard that too. It wasn't the escrow officer or the signing service. It's the borrowers, because you're honoring it. I think that was one of my favorite walking through the moments, B. You just crushed it. I mean,
Thank you.
is there anything you want to add to, like, what you attribute the growth to?
Just being consistent and just remembering that the pace is not, you said it, slow is a speed, my pace is different from everyone's pace. I mean, I can't make the business come to me, but when it does approach me, I nurture it and I continue to follow up. And even if they don't say yes to me for that particular signing, I always email them and say, hey, if anything fails or if you need a backup, I'm here. And I've been called many a times. I have allowed myself the flexibility. I promote myself from 24/7. But technically, but if they do say, hey, can you be there at 7? I'm there at 7. And I walked in someone's house at 11 p.m. Again, I have to be thankful that I have, again, this business not only transformed me and gave me it did give me purpose. I thought I didn't have I wasn't navigating right when it came to being a mother of an amazing 5-year-old. But it gave me a purpose in my life. And it also gave my marriage a revitalization, because my husband is like, he loves me now. Like, he really loves how happy I am. He sees me motivated. He doesn't see my depression. He doesn't see my, sitting down, waiting for this miracle to happen over my son's life. He's seeing this wife that he married and he's excited. So I'm happy to have my husband on board, because he's part of the loan signing system. Even if he didn't sign up, he's part of it. And I'm telling you, this has changed and transformed my marriage. And that allows me to work harder for us. I was able to take him to Vegas. And take him to the Raiders. Sorry, Mark. I was able to say, and we did it, but he's part of my journey. My son is part of our journey, and we're just going to keep growing. I mean, just keep pushing.
I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy for your family. I'm so happy for everything. I love it. I'm so proud of you, girl.
Thank you.
Look, I mean, literally, this is just the beginning of your business. I mean, you're now 5 months in. I mean, like, girl, we are going to take this to the moon and back.
Yes.
And so I'm just so proud of you. I'm excited for you. I can sense just your overwhelming a sense of gratitude for just business and life. And I can feel it through the camera. I'm sure everyone else does too, man. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. I'm excited. I'm telling you, if I could scream, I could scream. I'm excited, Mark. I'm telling you, I'm so excited. I'm like in the middle of so much joy, and I want to tear up. I want to cry, because it's just that transforming. It's that transforming. I know this is not about you. This is about me, but I'm sure I speak on behalf of the entire, viewing audience. you have changed a lot of the way we think of what's possible, right? And if it wasn't for me glimpsing at your video in 2018 and it just kept going, it's the consistency of being present, being in that moment. My life could have been different. I mean, I could have been still sulking over what ifs, but I took control. I took control, and I'm so excited. And I know everyone now is going to take control of their journey. As fast or slow as they decide to go, they're going to take control.
Well, you know what I think that topic is again, I think everything you went through has really made you the great businesswoman you are today, because business is about taking control, right? I mean, sometimes people let their business run them versus them running the business. Does that make sense? And so I think that you take control of the business from the standpoint of like, look, you bring cookies to the borrowers. Like, I'm sure no signing a student, I've never heard a student saying, I bring cookies to the actual signers at the table. Talk about someone taking control of the business. And I think people should be inspired by that, because I think from day one, when you kind of chose to get into the business, it was a mindset of like, I'm taking back my life. I'm going to take back but what I've learned about taking back my life, I'm going to apply to my business. And I think you can see what's sprouted from your business. And girl, this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning.
I can't wait.
All right, well, let's segue into the next part, right? Because you are a successful signing agent, girl, at over $10,000 a month. So I always ask you, successful signing agents, if your best friend in the whole world was like, B, I need one piece of advice, because there could be a million different pieces of advice to build it, but what is one piece of advice you'd give a signing agent to help them grow their business? What would that be?
Unfortunately, I'm sure a lot of people is tired of hearing it, but the patience, they have to have patience in the process. The process is this is not a microwave field. This is a business. If you're going to grow your business, you have to be patient in your learning style, in your approach. You have to be authentic with people. I am very bubbly, but I'm also shy when it's in a big crowd. So I bring myself, and you have to be yourself in every transaction, in every call, because everyone else is taken. You have to be yourself. You have to come across and understand that they need you, and you also need to be present and confident. So if they can just understand that patience is going to get them to wherever that journey leads, that's the best advice. I know a lot of people want microwave results, but this is a lifelong life change. This is a life-changing process. And if they always say good things worth getting doesn't come overnight, right? Mm-hmm. So just be patient, have grace on yourself, forgive yourself for the mistakes that you will make, because you will make mistakes. I've made mistakes, but I reset myself to know that I learned from them, right? So I know I gave a lot of advice, but I have a whole bunch. You just tell me more and give me more.
You said, girl, I'm letting you go. I wasn't jumping in. I'm like, get it, B. I really got a couple things. I think you should make like a t-shirt line of like great one-liners, because you wrote, be yourself because everybody else is taken.
They're gone. It's gone.
I mean, dude, I might steal that for LSS. Like, it was so good. You're right. Everybody tries to be someone else sometimes, but if you are an introvert, just be introverted. If you're an extrovert, be extrovert. If you're loud, be loud. If you're quiet, be quiet. You will find people in every business that are attracted to whoever you are. So if you just stay true to yourself. So I think that's probably one of the best of all the advice you gave in there. I think a good one was, just be you. Like, you don't need to be somebody else to be successful in this business. I would argue you don't need to be someone else to be successful in life. It's a good life mantra. It's like, be you because everybody else is taken. That is so, so good. What else I heard in there too is, again, I'm writing down notes like as quick as you're talking, is be consistent, right? And I think showing up every day is part of what makes your business where it is today, right? And you almost end with the word reset, right? You're going to make mistakes. We do. We're human. It's okay. It's resetting. It's not beating yourself up that this happened. It's like you said earlier, 1201, new day, let's go get it. And I think, again, you came back to that, and I want people, there's a theme there of resetting, and I agree with it, right? And then the last thing I want to touch on is the word patience. Sometimes, I tell you students that a lot of time discouragement comes from unrealistic expectations. A lot of people want this to be a microwave business. People want to make 10 grand their first month. Just for the record, I think $11,000 in your fourth month in the business is kind of microwavable-ish, girl. But the bigger point is, we have some students who make 10 grand in the second month. You met them at conference, but everyone has their own journey. Be patient. Yours is going to unfold. If I had to be honest with you, I think your signing agent journey took you 4 years to unfold. I don't think it was 4 months. I think it was 4 years. I think you are literally the definition of be patient with your own journey. I truly believe on this side as your business coach that you learn things through life that I can't coach into someone in 3 months. And that is, you went back to the word resetting. Like, you just have to reset. Like, you have to say yesterday was yesterday. Today's a new day. A lot of new signing agents still need to learn that. So I think your journey is actually a 4-year journey to get to $10,000 in a month. And that's freaking beautiful. And, like Bree Hansey at conference, right? Hers was a 3-year journey. I think yours is a 4-year journey to get to $10,000 a month. And that's beautiful because so many amazing things happened on that path. And the money is just the last cherry on the top. Everything else was the meat and potatoes. And
it truly is. I mean, the money is, a byproduct of this. I mean, it's great. Don't get me wrong. We all got into the business because we wanted to have a life change, but the joy and the fulfillment that you feel, like there's no one that can pour that into you. Like, I feel like, oh my God, this is amazing. This is for me. I did this. Me and God, let's give that credit. But I am part of something that is changing my life. I can't shift it. I can't wait for it. I don't have to wait on someone else giving me the success. I am happy where I'm at, and I'm so excited to see where I'm going with this. I truly am. And if I could say it's 4 years, and I truly wanted, I didn't understand 4 years. I said, I've been rocking with Mark for 4 years. Even though you didn't know me, you were my big brother the whole time.
I love it. I love it.
I knew you for 4 years. I knew your journey, but I had to go at my pace. And I had to realize that no one is going to come into your home and live your life. This life is my life. And if I go slow, if I go fast, that third month, it pushed me. It pushed me right through and I'm so happy it did because I grew. I grew in the last 4 months. In the 4 years, I've grown, right? Yeah. So
I think that like I said, and I'll say it 5 more times in this interview, I think the 4 years has really set you up for this moment as far as being a business owner.
Right.
I think, the business owner side is because being a business owner actually is about the intangibles, especially in our business. Because look, we watch people sign their name 100 times. Like, what we do is easy. It's the intangibles of the mindset of, I need to reset. I need to be in control. I need to run the business. I want to bring cookies to the borrowers. Like everything that you've learned in 4 years set you up for the business owner you are today. And that's beautiful. And I'm hoping that your journey can inspire others so they can maybe learn from your mindset, because that sets you up for being a business owner. And there's no doubt in my mind that you are better off as a business owner because of what you went through. And I hope people can see that and hear that and emulate some of the traits that you learned kind of the hard way, and I'm proud of you, man. I'm so freaking proud of you. It's okay, cool. Let's get to the last question. I want to talk to the person who's watching this right now. Majority of this conversation is to the LSS student, right? This last segment is to inspire someone who is not a signing agent, whether they take LSS or not. And sometimes people don't pull the trigger on being an entrepreneur, a signing agent, because they're scared of something. I want to normalize being scared is okay. So I want to hear from a successful signing agent. I want to hear from a successful signing agent that I was also scared. But
Oh,
but specifically, I want to know what you were scared about in the beginning of your journey. That looking back, you're kind of like, I shouldn't have been scared at all. So what was that for you, B?
oh, I was terrified of letting, like, failing, of course, is just number one, but more importantly, letting myself down and just falling short of the great things. I know I have potential, and I was scared that I was not going to be able to pull that potential out of me. And there was no one to shift the blame on. I couldn't blame my coworkers or my boss or the train or traffic. Everything lied in me, and I was terrified that what I knew could bring me a life changing um, result, that all fell in me. So my fear was, can I do this? Can I live up to what I know I can be? And failing myself was like hard. I had a lot of doubt. I had a lot of white noise of, you can't do this. You have a son with special needs, or you have this, you have that. There was so many things, but I was terrified of not allowing myself to be walk in my purpose, to have a chance at owning a business, and not, not seeing the best part of me. This is the best part of me in my years. I mean, this is the best part of me right now. I am really a full blown happy mother, wife, entrepreneur, business. I'm so excited. So I was just that, looking back 4 years ago and 4 months ago. I was terrified 4 years ago. I was terrified 4 months ago when I first took my signing. But now looking back, I wish I could have whispered and said, you're going to be amazing. Just do it. Just go in there. Because not one time that I walked in there, anyone revealed, oh, you're new at this. Everyone said, oh, you must be doing this. Like, you've been doing this for 10, 20 years. And in my head, I giggle because I'm like, I don't want to be dishonest, but I'm like, I try. So thank you. I'm honored. But so many people gave me compliments. So now looking back, I really wish I believed in myself more.
Yeah.
Mm.
I don't know what to add to that. That was so awesome. You know what I think is super profound is admitting to yourself and sharing that you were scared of failing you. I think a lot of people push that off on other things or other topics, other people, but being able to admit I was scared of, I won't be able to live it to the potential I know I have. And sometimes it's easier to take no action than to take action. And so I think that was super brave of you to share with everybody that, I wish I could have whispered in my own ear, I believe in you. I'm getting chills in my body by
Me
saying,
too. Me too. I got the bumps.
you
It's
know,
me too.
yeah. And I think that's, it's beautiful. And I want to say to anybody watching that, you're beautiful, you're amazing, you can do this. And I think B's saying the same thing, right?
Oh my God, I can't. I mean, if you're watching this and you have a doubt in your mind that you can't do this, erase it, reset your mind, and just go for it. Go for whatever it is that you want to do. Again, become the best version of you. Like, and that's with anything, Mark. I'm just excited that I gave myself the chance
Hmm.
to to live in the moment. It is nothing worse than living in regret and the what ifs. I'm telling you, those what ifs are really hard. They will come in your nightmares. And I don't have a what if I took the course 4 years ago. What if? I'm doing it. I'm doing it now, and I'll be around, and I'll be walking across that conference stage next year with my crown sashaying. I'll be
B from the Bronx in the hizzle.
gonna be there. I'm gonna do it.
Oh, girl. I mean, to wrap this up, I think you are just a beacon of energy and light and enthusiasm, and you are an example of, you can come from here and you can get to here if you just believe in yourself, you stay consistent, you be patient. For me, the theme of today's conversation was the word reset. Right? I think that we all have to be kinder to ourselves, no matter what it is. We have a tendency to beat up on ourselves individually, But I think, like you said, 1201. It's a new day, time to reset. Let me kind of end the conversation with this. You went through 3 years of I don't know what the appropriate word is. Trials, tribulations, a dark time, whatever word is appropriate.
I say fear of the unknown. It was such an unknown phase in my life, right?
Okay.
It was such a scary moment of vulnerability. Like, when you imagine if you had a child and you just have no control of what's next for them, right? So that is, I'm still living it. The truth is, it's not over, right? And the smile that you see in my face is not, oh, she's having a good day. I every day is a great day, but the every day is still faced with this my child who has challenges, and every day is going to be the same thing. But I choose to look above that and say that comes with me. That's my package. When I go to the table and I stamp and I notarize, that is part of my deal, and I love it. Like, like if I could put a little autism little stamp next to my note, I will stamp that too, because that's part of my story. And
Mhm.
some days I don't smile as bright, but I know every day is going to get better. I just know it.
I love it.
Yeah.
And I think that summarizes the past 2 minutes of what you just said, and it's beautiful. And so, I want to end with this question: is the unknown in fear. If someone's going through their version of unknown, if someone's going through their version of not knowing what's next, what would you say to them to help them through, to just keep going, keep pushing? Because if someone who's lived it and been there, what would you say to someone who is currently there watching this right now? What would you want to tell them to keep going? Give some advice, give some words of encouragement. Do what you do
Like
best.
if the fear is everyone, if that fear, and we've all heard it, if this is the first time you're hearing it, fear is evidence, false evidence appearing real. It's not reality. So if you feel as though I can't, or can I, or all those doubts, just try it. You failed if you didn't try.
Mhm.
So if you sit there and say, man, I wish, just do it. Just go ahead, take 2 steps forward and pause, then take another step. You just can't bite off more than you can chew, but at least take a bite, take a
Yes.
bite out of this beautiful life called, your business, right? We're talking about your business. We're talking about what is going to change. And if you don't make that move towards it, no one else will. So just do it. There's no failing margin here. It's just you will grow every step you take.
Oh, I can't agree. And here's what I'm going to end with. I'm so inspired by you. I'm so inspired by your son that, as you know from conference, we donate part of our money, our whatever revenue we make with loan signing system, to charity. But next month, I want to donate $2,500 to an autism charity that you and your family support, because I'm so inspired. So you tell me what charity that is, and we will donate loan signing system. Me and Roman
Uh,
will donate $2,500 to whatever charity you tell me that you and your family support. So
thank,
you're welcome. You're gonna make me cry. You're gonna make me cry. but
oh, thank you. No, thank you, because that's a really touching, because a lot of people just don't see that these kids need help. These kids, and they're kids. Just be aware. If anything, just don't look at them differently. Look at them as they're
Mhm.
just kids. They're so happy. Anyone that's going through something, just treat them the same. And that's that in my whole heart. I thank you for saying that. I've been
Oh,
trying to keep it together, but I thank you so much.
yes. So whatever charity that you and your family support for autism, the loan signing system will donate $2,500 in your family's name and your baby boy's name. So thank you for doing this
Thank
today.
you.
Thank you
Thank
for inspiring
you.
me. Thank you to your son, because honestly, he's inspiring to me. The way he sees life is the way we should all see life. Period.
Absolutely. And if
And
my son can get up and start a new day, anybody can. we should just look at the children and remember that life is just amazing and we should treat it the same. Thank you, Mark. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So
Thank you.
I'll see you next year on the 10K Club stage. Let's
Yes!
push for the 20K Club, girl.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
So until next year, B, a big hug from San Diego. Thank you
Oh
so
my God.
much.
Oh my God.
Bye.
Thank you, Mark. Mark, thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.